The Dune trailer in one word? Wow. All right, everybody, let's talk about Dune Part 3 trailer that dropped. And in every way, shape, or form, it looks incredible. I mean, that shouldn't be necessarily a surprise because the previous two Dune movies looked amazing. They had a different tone to them for obvious reasons, if you've read the book, especially because part one is a lot of setup, and then part two is the resolution to everything that happened in part one, since they split the book up into two. At the same time, it's you're wondering how it's going to always turn out. Can they stick the landing? And so many trilogies, with the exception of a handful, can actually land it well. Lord of the Rings is probably the best example of that. As much as I loved the original Star Wars trilogy, the landing for Return of the Jedi isn't that great, and let's not even talk about the Matrix trilogy. But if anyone can do it, is Denis Villeneuve. I think he is, top two, top three director working right now. And I love just how, first, the actual look of it. You know what I mean? Like the visuals that he's presenting with the camera angles, the distance of the camera, and it all really seems to tell that story in the proper way. And, you have all the main players back. You got Timothee Chalamet, you got Zendaya, you got Rebecca Ferguson, Jason Momoa. I know a lot of people who have not read the books don't understand how Jason Momoa comes back because he is killed in the first one. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a clone. They bring Duncan, Idaho back repeatedly in the series through clone technology. So that explains that. But now you also have Robert Pattinson. Now I read the Dune book that this one is based off of. It's called Dune Messiah. There's a lot I don't remember from the book because, not so much of a hot take, but I don't think very highly of Frank Herbert as a writer. And now I don't mean world building or story or even character. I'm talking like literally sentence structure. The prose of his books are just not appealing to me. It took me forever to finish the first one, but it is a 600-page book, so it's going to take some time. The second one is a little less than 250 pages, at least the edition that I read, and it still was a slog, But I can still see through that how interesting the story is, how layered the characters are. So that was definitely going to bring me into seeing the movie, regardless of what I thought of the book itself. And it looks great. And it really seems to have that great balance between the seriousness of the book, of the story, I should say, the right weight to it. But as opposed to part one, which was very much, the world building, the weight and responsibility these characters are feeling, and how they deal with the events that happen. It's kind of a quiet movie, And then part two is basically a war movie, so a lot more action is happening. And this one, at least so far, seems to have like that nice little balance between the two. So I'm looking forward to that. And there's a lot of changes that have obviously been made, but I'm totally fine with that. Anya Taylor-Joy plays the sister of Paul Atreides, but in the book version, she's about like 12, 13 years old, and now she's Anya Taylor-Joy, so she's fully grown. But that's totally fine. I always thought it was a baller move in Dune Part 2 to have that brief, basically cameo of Anya Taylor-Joy, kind of like a future vision, when there's a huge gap in the story of the books between the first Dune book and the second one, And Denis Villeneuve is even on record saying that he wanted some time away from Arrakis before he goes back there. So I figured, okay, he's going to do a movie and then he'll go back to it. But I guess the movie studio just backed up the Brinks truck for him and he couldn't say no, which is fine. I did think some more time was going to pass because one of the main things in the second Dune book, which I think that they're also going to address in the film, is that Uh, Paul is feeling the weight of being, number one guy. Heavy lies the crown type of sentiment. And so he's supposed to be much older in the second book, and he doesn't look that much older, obviously. But those are kind of easy things to work your way around. And if anybody can do it, Denis Villeneuve can. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.